really focus on what I'm looking at as far as speaking and the different things that we're looking at here. So I'm actually not going to be looking at our message board a whole lot. Fortunately, I've had asked a couple of my coworkers here that work in our claims department to help me out a little bit. And so they're going to be watching the message board for any questions that come in. With that being said, within WebEx, which is the platform we have that we're doing this webinar on, you have the ability to just send a message to me, the presenter, or to the whole group. If you could, please make sure you send that message to the whole group for two reasons. A, that way the coworkers here, like I said, that are willing to help me answer some of these questions can see those questions and then give you the answer. But B, I mentioned this last week as well. If you have a question, there's a very good chance that someone else on this call had that same question, and that way we can all see that answer together. Also, with that being said, I do have everyone on mute, and I will keep it that way, just for the sake of trying to avoid some of that unnecessary feedback we sometimes will get when we're on webinars with a large amount of participants on them. And then last but not least, after we're done today, and you can get out into the system and look at this, and obviously if you need to actually submit a self-cert replant claim, and if you have any questions, please make sure you try to get a hold of your marketing reps and underwriters. They're more than ready to help out with anything like this. And so that would be definitely your first source of go-to information should you have any additional questions after today's call. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into it. I am currently sharing my screen. You should see EASYwriter Pro 2020, and I am logged in as an agent today, a fake agent, but everything we're going to see is the same screen you would see as well. Like I said, we're going to first start out by just actually submitting a self-cert replant claim. So let's take a look at a couple of different ways we can do that. From within the main screen here of EASYwriter Pro, there's essentially two ways. You can either make your way up to this claims dropdown and then highlight the MPCI, which will provide that additional drop-down message there, or message menu here. And you can see there, two down from the top, notice of loss. Clicking that will bring us into the appropriate screen. Or if you are looking to save just an extra couple of clicks in the screen, this yellow flag here within the claims quadrant will also bring you to the same screen that we would have seen when we selected that notice of loss. From here, you can either key in your insured's name, policy number, whatever the case may be, or you can utilize your agency code, which I'm going to do today. And I'm just going to grab a policyholder for this agency, Mr. Johnny Farmer Jr. Now from here, this screen should look pretty familiar to you all, as this is the exact same screen you would see if you were submitting any other type of MPCI loss, whether it's a harvest loss, prevent plant, a normal replant. It's the same screen here. The only thing that's going to be different is obviously our notice of type here. So when I select this dropdown, you're going to see we have all of our options. Since we're talking about self-cert, we're going to select that self-certified replant. Now, because we're selecting this option, the screen itself, the MPCI notice of loss screen, will change just a little bit compared to the other loss types. And I'll cover that here, but you're going to see some text appear about 2/3 of the way down on this screen, and we'll get to this here shortly. But from here, we've selected the appropriate notice type. Next, we need to select our coverage line. You can see you can select all, if applicable, or if it's just one coverage, you can select that. I'm selecting soybeans today just because I actually already have a corn replant claim in for this policyholder when I was testing. So today we're going to run with soybeans on this example. If you recall on a call I had maybe a week ago or 2 weeks ago, when I mentioned a strategy that I always employ whenever I'm in any of our systems, top to bottom, left to right, same would go here. So I've got my coverage selected, and I'm just going to make my way left to right along this line. So the next option here is I need to select my cause. Today we're just going to say cold, wet weather, which makes sense for replant. Then we can make our way over to intentions. Now this is an important drop down, because you'll see here at the bottom, it's kind of hidden, which is unfortunate. If you can expand this out so it's not so hidden, but you want to make sure you select that replant. If you do not select this replant, you're gonna cause a little bit of a headache for yourself in regards to trying to get this claim submitted. So with this self-cert replant, it's pretty straightforward. Obviously, you want to make sure that replant is selected for your intentions. So we've done that. Next, we can just key in our date of damage. We'll just say yesterday. And everything else here, I'm good to go. I don't need to do anything else for this particular section of the submission. Now, just below the coverages, you'll see, like I mentioned earlier, we have some text that appeared when I selected that self-cert replant option. And I'm just going to read it to you just in case it's hard to see because of me sharing my screen. But it simply says, if the insured intends to replant and a replanting payment is applicable, is the acreage greater than 100 acres of the unit? This is, and then it references the bulletin that was released in regards to COVID-19. Basically, it went from 50 acres to now 100 acres for the unit. That's key there, for the unit. So then you would need to answer this question, yes or no. You can see it's just a radio button. Once you select one, the other one will deselect, and vice versa. So I'm going to select no, it does not exceed the greater than 100 acres. So then I can make, like I said, top to bottom, left to right, make my way down to this section here, which is the same for any type of claim or loss type that you're submitting. You got to make sure you have your best contact information, the date that you received the actual loss. So we're just going to say again yesterday. And I came in that on eBails, and we'll just keep it straight there. Now, then you can also add in remarks. A question did come in yesterday when I was showing this to our marketing staff, because of what I'm going to explain to you after this is in regards to how the communication process begins to work between us, NAU, and your insured. And a question came in, can the replant authorization form be emailed to the insured versus going through regular US mail? It can, and I only suggest that if that's something your insured wants, or for that matter, you as an agent would just want, it's a good opportunity here in the remarks section to annotate that, because the adjuster who's going to be getting this submission is going to be able to see these remarks. So I'm just going to do that today. Please send replant auth form via email. Oops. And I'm just going to list, obviously, my email today, but we would list the real email for the insured. So this is just an excellent opportunity for those kind of one-off situations for you as an agent to communicate with your adjuster, your claims manager, or whoever's going to see this in the next step. So from here, everything's good to go. I don't need to key in any additional information. So I'm going to go ahead and select Save. Now the screen will appear here, and we get this question every year in regards to this Close button. If I select Close, it's not going to delete or cancel anything we did here. It's just simply referencing this box here. We're going to close this box. From within here, we do have the option to print the notice of loss. You can see I can highlight this here, or I can create another loss after I've just completed this one. In this case, I'm good to go. I don't need to do anything there. So I'm just going to go ahead and select Close. From there, you can see we're brought back to regular EasyWriter Pro, and we have just officially submitted the self-cert replant claim for my insured. Now from here, what happens is the claims manager or whoever's going to be in charge of that claim in that area will have received a notification that a submission came in. They either assign this replant claim to an adjuster, or they may just take care of it themselves based on how busy they are, the area, the kind of the standard procedures for that area. But essentially what's going to happen is someone from the claims department is going to give your insured a call and basically just run through the details of the potential replant claim. If everything looks good to go over this phone call, they're going to give them the authority to go ahead and begin the replant process. In the meantime, or at the same time as this is happening, what's also going to happen is the replant authorization form will be sent to your insured, again, either mail or email. And that form needs to be filled out by the insured and then submitted back to NAU, to the branch office that their policy falls under. And to show you what that looks like, we're actually going to jump into our claims manager screen, which will then allow us to also show you some features that are available to you in regards to tracking these claims. So let's go ahead and open Claim Manager, which is what this looks like here. And if I refresh this here, we're going to see Johnny Farmer Jr. here's policy show up under the new. Try that one more time. If not, that's okay. I prepared for this and we have a lot of policies that we can work with. We're in our demo environment, so it must not just be communicating quite quickly enough, but you should have seen the Johnny Farmer policy we just did show up here under the new folder, and I'll cover all these different folders here shortly. But back to that self-cert authorization replant form. What that looks like is this form here. I'm just going to pull it up as on a PDF, which should appear here shortly. Let me just zoom out here real quickly so I can kind of break this down. So the first page of this form, which again will be sent to your insured, is just a letter, a pretty simple, straightforward letter, but very important, something they should definitely read, they being the insured. It basically just gives them an idea of what this document is and what's needed from them on our side in regards to the RMA rules and regulations for a replant claim, in this case, a self-cert replant claim. So if you do have an insured that it has a self-cert and everything looks like it's going to be good to go, really make sure you stress that they read this letter and just understand what's needed on the upcoming pages that we're going to look at. The next page of this document is basically a legend, or if you will, almost an agenda of what is needed on the actual document, which is going to be the last two pages here. You can see it's a 4-page document. First one's that letter. This one right here, let me scroll up just a hair so we can see this, is just going to break down what's on the document and what's needed, kind of almost like a small little description of what each section is. You'll notice on the left-hand side, it's numbered 1 through, I think it gets down to 23. Yep. 1 through 6 are going to pre-fill based on the information we have in the system in EASYwriter Pro. So we're not going to have to really worry about this, they being, again, the insured, but again, just kind of breaks down what is being represented on the document. Where the insured's requirements will kick in, we'll start on line 7. And you can see here, so crop, it's going to ask what crop's being replanted, share, if there's a share percent, so on and so forth, even down to how many decimal places. I won't go through each one of these items. Obviously, you can all see this and read this, and you'll also get a copy of this after the call. But I just wanted to break this down. Each from line 7 down, it's going to tell you what the item is, and then just more or less a pretty simple, straightforward instruction on what we're looking for in regards to that data. Now I call out these numbers because if I get to the next page, you'll see here on the document, we've numbered each one of these columns to correlate with those items on that previous page. 1 through 6 all fall within this section here. They're not numbered. Like I said, they pre-fill, so nothing we need to worry about on that end. But starting on 7, this is what we're looking for. You know, crop, share, unit number, so on and so forth. And it is a requirement of the insured. They need to fill this out. If anything's missing, I can assure you our claims processors, our underwriters, someone's going to catch it, and it's just going to add an extra layer or a headache to your insured if this isn't filled out, which is, again, why it's so important that they read that letter and really make sure they know what's needed in order to get this claim through as quickly as possible for them. So as I go through this document, they're going to fill that out, this information. You know, you can see here that we even need a slight easy drawing of the field itself that's going to be replanted. The second page has the 4th page has a couple extra questions in regards to the date of damage, cause of damage, replant stuff, the actual cost of seed, so on and so forth. And then last but not least, line 22 there is the insurer's printed name and signature followed by the date. Once this is submitted back to us, then we'll get our adjuster to look it over, they'll print and sign, and then last but not least, someone within the office here at NAU will provide that final signature. While this is all being happening, which, you know, the document hopefully is filled out and submitted within the same day that they're receiving it, they're allowed, they being the farmer, to still replant and get that process going. They're not hung up with, they need to send this back or anything like that, because that's what's important about that phone call they would have received from someone in the claims department once the initial submission was made. Again, that notice of loss we did. So that this is just the document they need to submit. And again, it's pretty thorough in regards to what we need, but it's just the way it is in regards to the data we're going to need to grab from them. So again, this will happen kind of the same time that you can track this information in Claims Manager. So let me just real quickly minimize this and let's take a look at actual Claims Manager. For anyone that's not familiar with Claim Manager, this is the screen we're looking at, and internally to NAU, this is where our claims management and claims processors basically live day in and day out. This is where a lot of the processing of claims takes place. You as agents also have access to it. You can see here I'm in it right now as an agent. The only difference is between yourselves as agents and a processor is that it's going to be just read only. You're just going to be able to see the information and where a claim's located. Just kind of a quick breakdown. You can see you can refresh the actual manager. This would be a situation like I was trying to earlier. We'll try it one more time, see if it finally pulls in. Or you submitted a claim and you're trying to get the updated data in there. It's still not showing up for me. That's okay though. You can export whatever view you're in, which I'll get to here shortly. See any notes, add any notes to claims. This print icon, this is just showing any documentation that would have been attached to the claim. This first section though is going to be just the general claim documentation. You can always look at those, and that's how I was able to see that self-cert form. But as you see, documents actually begin to get attached to the claim. Actually filled out production summaries with the signatures, worksheets, so on and so forth. You'll see those documents listed in this open space here. You can filter if you have a lot of different policies. I won't get into that here just because it's a pretty small agency here. And then you can save grid preferences, which is similar to a lot of different grids you can see within EASYwriter Pro, where, for example, if you want to see that primary adjuster first for whatever reason, you can see I can just bring that column over and I could save that grid preference. But let's go ahead and take a look at what's actually the data that we're actually looking at here. So on the left-hand side, you'll see a series of folders. This one starts with new, in-field, deferred, returned from EASYadjuster, with issues, pending, withdrawn, and processed. Each one of these folders is worked with internally with our claims processing team and adjusters as the claim is processed. It's more or less a way they can track and make sure that all the required information is being gathered, that all of the proper documentation's attached, so on and so forth. These folders are what they use that for in regards to just organizing all of that information. You as agents can see all that and basically, like I said, just track what's happening. First folder, new, pretty straightforward. They're just brand new claims that were just submitted. You can see here as I change or click a different claim, the notes from the notice will also change just to reflect what we what claim we're looking at. You can see any claim notes. This will be anything that was added by the adjuster or maybe a claims manager. And then finally, you'll also see any adjuster contact logs. Now, because we're in the new folder, you're typically not going to see anything here because that's just what it is. It's just brand new. And we may not even have a primary adjuster assigned yet, which in this case, we do not. The next folder, in field, is once an adjuster has been assigned to the claim. That's where we're going to start to see some claim notes, some adjuster contact logs start showing up, so on and so forth. Again, this is just simply referencing the claims in the field, which basically means the adjuster has it and he's beginning to get in contact with the insured, set up a time to get out and check out the field, whether it's a replant, whether it's, in this case, self-cert, they wouldn't be doing that. But in any normal claim situation, that's what this in-field process means. Deferred, if the policy or if the claim is deferred for any given reason, the again, processors would move it there for whatever case that may be. Return from EASYadjuster, this is simply the adjuster is done with the claim. Again, this is speaking outside of self-cert because they wouldn't have actually gone out and viewed anything in the field. But if this is a normal replant or a PP, harvest loss, whatever the case, once they've got all the documentation and they've attached it to the claim, that claim will then get sent back to the office and it'll show up here in the return from EJ, which is just, like I said, EASYadjuster, which is a program that our adjusters use to adjust claims. With issues, I moved a couple claims down here just to show you what that looks like. But these two folders here, with issues and pending, also have subfolders. If I click that little arrow there, you can see with issues, needing info from field, which is where I put this particular claim, or it's needing information from the office. This will be something like the adjuster is waiting for a revised acreage report or an adjusted APH database, something along those lines. The adjuster may put a claim here in the info from office folder, just so they know that there's something they need from the office. In this case, I just put it in this folder, no rhyme or reason, just wanted to show you what it looks like on the screen. And again, you're not seeing any claim notes or adjuster contact logs just because this isn't obviously a real policy. Same with pending. Got a set of subfolders, a little bit more than the with issues one. You can see here we have auditing, manager approval, which is where I put this one. So let's say this is a true self-cert replant, but they broke the 100 acres by 2 acres. It's 102 acres. Manager's probably going to just look at it real quick and say, okay, we're good to go. Let's get this one through. Obviously, just making this scenario up. But in that case, this is maybe one reason why in a real life claim, maybe put it in this folder here. But again, you can see that, and then you'll most likely see claim notes referencing why it's in this folder. This one is waiting for an acreage report. This is the quality control. This is looking for any issues that regards to the claim they need to see there. And then if there's a PP alternate crop verification, that's a very specific folder that identifies exactly what that folder is used for. If a claim is withdrawn for whatever reason, it would show up here. And then once a claim is final processed and paid, it would automatically show up here, which you can see here that the zeros, I don't have any in this current folders to show you that, but they look all the same as you've seen here as I move up and down the folders. So that's how you can track a claim within Claim Manager. You also, as agents, have the ability to view and track information in the Claim Editor. Claim Editor is, let me go real quick back to EASYwriter Pro. I'm actually going to grab 233.33. Let's go ahead and just look at actual policy here. Johnny Farmer, this is the corn one I was talking about earlier. Claim Editor is actually found under this tab here, the Claims and Financial tab. Don't need to edit the policy. I can leave it closed. If I click this Claim and Financial tab, here's the Claim Editor. This is also where our claim processors work a lot and edit different things, move different folders around. Again, for agents, this is just view only, but you can see different pieces of information on just this claim. So this is a good way of checking out claim data kind of more in a condensed, more one screen type deal versus Claim Manager, where you're going to see your entire book of business with every insured and every claim that may be out there. Within the Claim Editor, you can see here, you can still see the proof of loss. You can still look at easy adjustment attachments and things like that. But within here, it's basically broken down into 3 tabs. Your General tab, which is going to reflect the loss entry dates and the information there. Tracking as far as any dates that were keyed onto the claim itself. Any financial information, any reviews or override logs, and a lot of these things you'll see here. Loss lines, pretty straightforward there. It's just going to show you exactly the lines that are on the loss. And then any claim history. So in this case, you can see here that crop agent submitted this loss 9:50 this morning. I jumped in and played the part of Claim Manager and assigned it to an adjuster. And then I loss folder repaired for, I messed around with it a little bit further. And then crop agent again submitted a new loss. So there's our loss that I mentioned earlier. This is our soybeans. So that's just kind of a good information that, again, you can see any and all claim information regarding just one policyholder. Now, I'm going to close this down real quick. Let's bring up Claim Manager again one more time. If you are already in Claim Manager and you wanted to get to Claim Editor quickly, under the Claim Details section, you'll see here that the claim number and policy number are links. If I click the policy number, I'm going to be brought to Policy Editor, which is the normal screen you'd see after looking up a policy. But if I click the claim number, this is going to bring me directly into that same claim editor I launched from within the policy. So it's just kind of a quick launch point for you into claim editor there. So believe it or not, like I said, pretty straightforward call today. That is Claim Manager, how you can track a claim. And then obviously we saw how to key in a self-cert replant, and then kind of the internal processes in regards to communication between the NAU claim staff and your insured. We'll finish the call real quick here. I'm going to share my iPad. Oh, I should have had that unlocked. Give me 2 seconds here. This will be a bit of a review, and that's totally fine. No problems there. But I just want to show you how you can do all this from within the app. I gotta remember the password here. Another cool tool about my sharing ability here with my iPad. I obviously just keyed in a password, but you guys didn't see that password. Kind of a cool feature in case anyone does anything like this with sharing their screens or things like that with different calls. Your AirShare won't actually show that password. Kind of a cool feature. But once we're logged into the policy, you're going to see here all kinds of red flags. These are all just different claims I created earlier today just for today's call. But if we jump into Johnny Farmer here, who we're kind of working with today, who has that red flag, which again, just as a reminder, means that there's a claim on the policy. You'll see that red flag once more there for the current year policy. I'll select that, and we're going to make our way down to the actions menu once it gets done loading. You'll see there we have our one claim. Now I'll just click that just to show you what that looks like. If you recall in the prior calls when we were looking at just the app and the agent features that are available to you, the claim that we had submitted, the green dot was just here. You can see here now this is in the field, like I referenced on Claim Manager. So this is another tracking tool, like I said, that you can see and check out what's going on with your different policyholders' claims, see any notes, adjuster logs, things like that you'll see, so on and so forth. So this is how you can track these claims in the app. I hit back once more. And then I'm just going to real quickly jump in the notice of loss. I won't go through the whole process, but just simply want to show you that you can in fact submit this self-cert replant claims from within the app. And it's the exact same process that we did in EASYwriter Pro. Just obviously the layout's just a little bit different in regards to what it looks like. But again, you can see we have selected crop. It would then ask us for the intentions, the date of damage, so on and so forth. We would get that submitted just like it would have done in EASYwriter Pro, and they would have in that same process, then the adjuster or the manager would have gotten notified, and we would begin that self-cert replant process. So that is, I'm going to close my iPad here. That is, again, like I said, a pretty easy call today, pretty short, but that is how you can key in a self-cert replant claim, how you can track it within Claims Manager, from within Claims Editor, or within the app, which you can see here. I don't have anything else to reference in regards to training. I will, though, just real quickly show you. I'm going to bring over a document here. This document, this PDF, will be emailed out to everyone as a follow-up email we send after each one of these calls, along with the recorded link here, the recorded video. But this document just walks you through exactly what I basically talked about. So you can see our table of contents. Right here, self-cert steps, log in here, step here, click here, same screen there. Kind of then a breakdown of what's happening off the screen in regards to that communication piece between us and the insured. And then also, if you ever wanted to look at that self-cert, this is where you can get to it. Again, I showed you that from within Claim Manager. And then the last few pages are, again, just a copy of that same letter I mentioned. There's the completion instructions, again, with the item titles and the numbers, which then correlate with the actual document. So this PDF will get sent out to everyone after this call, most likely a little bit later, because the recording does take a little while to render. But once that's done, like I said, we'll get that sent out to you guys right away. So that's again, that's pretty much what I wanted to cover today. Like usual, I'll hang out just a little bit to see if there's any additional questions that come in over the message board. But if no one has any questions, you're more than welcome to jump off the call. Just want to say thank you, as always, for taking some time to let me talk to you guys today, and have a great rest of the day. Bye, everyone. All right, I don't see any additional questions coming in on the chat, so I'm going to go ahead and just officially end the call. Again, thanks everyone, and I'll hopefully talk to you everyone next week as well. Bye now.